decision-making spans a network of people. Decision-making is no more for one man to take a decision. He needs to apply certain, he needs to listen to people now to make decisions. So there must be a network of people. Big data has been said to comprise the three V's: volume, velocity, variety. Now the volume is as good as it is the problem. Problem in the sense that there is too much volume that we cannot now analyze this data. However, it also presents the good side of it, because with this volume comes the information that we actually require to start making decisions. Now, velocity is the speed at which the information comes to us. Every second, things are changing. Every second, information is coming. Variety. Information is vast. So, things about education, government, health, insurance, banking is coming at us. The question is, what are we doing with this data? Now, I'll share some hard facts in terms of numbers and how, just to put a brief picture, a small picture, so that we start to see how important data is. 1 in 2 leaders do not have the information that they require to make decisions, which says that 50% of people actually need to do some research that is maybe unnecessary for them to make simple decisions that they need to make. So information is not really that readily available to us. We have 1 trillion data generating devices at the end of this year. 1 trillion. 5 gigabytes of data generated every day. 80% of this data, unfortunately, is unstructured. Data is now one of the most important resources. And if we do not start to work with data, then we simply are in big trouble, simply said. Now, this is how big data actually started. This is the origin of big data. So we have the government and businesses putting up databases. For instance, yesterday we were told 1.4, almost 1.5 million people sat for JAMB exams. The year before, it was 1.6. However, nobody knows why there was a dip. Nobody knows if that dip is good or bad. But we just have that database anyways. Then we're talking about services. Services now, after governments and businesses are putting up their databases, we also start to have services. So now with the click of the button, you see every service that people want, everything that is that you require, you can have by a click of the button. Social media. So just put a background to this. Facebook alone has 845 million monthly active users, generating 2.7 billion comments. Every minute we sit here, over 200 million SMSs or emails are sent. All this information hitting us. So, but the question always is, how are we harnessing this data? What are we doing with this data? IoT, Internet of Things. So now it's not so much as businesses and people putting things. Now devices want to tell me what to do. So I'm going home and my phone says to me, you're 5 minutes away from your house. Something somewhere tells my sprinkler, or somebody else's sprinkler anyway, that the weather report says that it's 75% of rain. So there's no need to come on. You're driving towards your house, your car tells your gate to open up. No information is exchanged, just things talking to each other. With all this information exchanging, going back and forth, storage is key. Because if we don't have storage, then what's the use? Connectivity. With all these things happening, the connectivity is key. We need to start looking at how we can start putting these things together and making some sense out of it. Better educate and inform stakeholders. What do I mean by this? Today, if a parent is trying to decide where to put a ward or a student or a child, the information the person is going to use is subjective. He's going to say, oh, it's closer to my house, or my aunt went there, or I went there, or I hear that. But suppose you had facts and figures to prove that there's a track record, then you are better informed. So if I want to send my child to be a student of medicine, and I know that, okay, the analytics show that this school is the best at medicine, it makes me, it's better for me. It helps me to make that decision. The outside world afterwards. What this says is, today, an employer of labor says, I want to employ 2 people. Now he takes their CVs, he looks at them, and he decides based on paper. What will happen if this person can actually get access to database that shows him what that student did, what that potential employee did across his school period? Extracurricular activities, project work, then that person can actually better apply himself in his workplace. Same thing applies to alumni. How can an alumni help in actually making the school better if it doesn't have data to show where they're doing well and where they're not doing well, or in comparison to others? Big data is important for all of us. I strongly believe that the earlier that we start to replicate what Covenant has started, the better for us. Thank you very much.